I waited 2 months for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I know a lot of y'all been asking me this question. Was it worth it? Well, today I'm going to tell you. Hey guys, I'm Chicken Dog, the guy with the yellow beanie. I camped out for the Nintendo Switch 2 months ago at Nintendo New York to get the first ever one sold at the Nintendo store. Now, y'all probably wonder how or what I think about the Nintendo Switch 2. And I played it for like 100 hours now. I have like 60 hours in Mario Kart World. Been playing a lot of GameCube and, playing some of my old school Switch games. I think today is the perfect day to give you guys my honest feedback and opinion about the console in general. I'll probably do another one like a year from now when the library is fully out. But I just mainly wanted to do it today about my experience the first few weeks having the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, let's get straight into it. Now, for starters, I gotta talk about these controllers, man. These JoyCons, they are so clean. I think these are way better than the original JoyCons. The JoyCons 2, I love them. They're better for one person, like if you want to play you just only have one Joy-Con and you want to play Mario Kart. It's a lot easier to play Mario Kart this time around than the last time when I had Mario Kart 8. These Joy-Cons are so much better, because they're way bigger. When I played the original Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch 1 back in 2017, my one problem was using one Joy-Con, just not having that much room to hold the Joy-Cons. And it felt very uncomfortable, trying to hit the CL and ZR button back in the day. But now with the Joy-Con 2s, it's way bigger, it feels way more comfortable. It feels like an NES controller when I use it when I'm playing Mario Kart World on the go, when I'm with my friends, like going on a subway or just on a car ride, kill some hours, we play some Mario Kart. And I've been having a blast playing a lot of Mario Kart. Also, I love these controllers because the sticks feel way better, smoother. I've been hearing people saying there's Joy-Con drift again, there's issues with the Joy-Cons. I haven't had any issues with my Joy-Cons yet. They've been very good, way better quality than original Joy-Cons in my opinion. And I like the backwards grip. It just feels like I'm actually playing like a very high-tech gear controller on my Nintendo system, and I love it. And it's so much better than the original Joy-Cons because the original Joy-Cons just feel like plastic, and these feel like actual good hardware. This feels like a pro controller, but for a smaller handheld. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very high quality. And also, my favorite part about these Joy-Cons is you have my Nintendo Switch 2 here, right? You just click it on like that, bam! It links like that. It's so clean, it's so nice. And then compared to the other ones where you had to hit the button, get it out, and it would always damage it, you just click this button, it comes off like that. You don't have to worry about the Joy-Con 2s getting damaged, scratched. It just links back on like that. And I love the new Joy-Cons. The Joy-Con controllers are my new favorite part of this system, and I love the Joy-Con 2s. Next, I want to talk about is the Switch 2, console hardware itself. Now, I love the Switch 2, graphics update. Playing my old games from the Switch 1, Breath of the Wild runs so much better on the Switch 2. It feels like a new game, even though it came out 8 years ago. It feels like a whole new Zelda game, which is phenomenal. And I always love going back to playing Breath of the Wild. And I was doing my first run while waiting for the Switch 2 because I never beat the game. And I got very close. I got halfway. And I'm still going to probably beat it for you guys on stream. But it runs so much better on Switch 2. The graphics change is insane. It just feels like I'm playing Zelda on the PC. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like a PC on the go handheld. And I'm really happy that I'm able to play Breath of the Wild and the quality it was supposed to be in. But next thing I want to talk about, and this is something I noticed, which is my first downside with the Switch 2, is the battery life. Now, I don't have too big of a problem with the battery life because, I always carry on chargers. And, I used to have a Nintendo DS and they used to die a lot when I was a kid. So I'm used to that battery life. it's disappointing when you have the Switch 2 and like the next generation of the Switch console, and the battery life's kind of like the Nintendo DS, which I'm not that happy about, but at least the game quality on handheld is good. And there is settings to go around to fix these, so you gotta like put your Switch 2 at 80% charge max so it lasts longer. And I don't really like the battery life issue, but I get it because when you have so much like advanced upgrades on a handheld, it only can handle so much until it overheats. And I gotta talk about the fan. The fan is way better than the Switch 1. I remember when I got my 2017 the Switch 1, it overheated after 4 years. I wasn't able to use it anymore. And I had to use my Switch OLED instead that I won from Kung Fu Tea. Shout out to Kung Fu Tea. I love you guys. But yeah, I couldn't use my Switch 1 after the fan started going out because it would make the console slower. Luckily, the fan is way better upgraded. There's more room for the air to come out. And it just runs better. The games run better. You know, it plays better. I can't complain too much about it. The only thing I wish was the battery life was longer, but I understand why they couldn't make it longer. I'm just grateful. It lasts a while, but I wish it lasted longer. Next thing I want to talk about is the screen size. I think this is so much better than the original Switch size. This feels like I'm holding a Wii U on the go, and the Wii U is pretty big. And I love the Wii U. So I'm glad the screen's bigger, more stuff to do, I feel like, than the original Switch. And then, obviously, the kickback, bigger upgrade. When I had my Switch 1, the original one would just fall off. It would break, crack the screen. Now, it doesn't break anymore. It just stays still. I feel comfortable leaving my Switch on handheld mode now, and I can play my games like this. It just feels smooth. It feels right. It feels like the right way to play the Switch, and I'm so glad they fixed that for the Switch 2. Now, there's some things that I want to talk about with the Switch 2 that I personally don't like. Now, I had a Switch 1 back in the day, and it was okay. It run good and run all my games. The Switch OLED, I ran into this issue what I'm about to get into, but I was able to transfer everything. So I had saved data from Animal Crossing and Pokemon that I transfer over to my Switch OLED. No problem, right? However, when the Switch 2 came in, I almost lost all my Animal Crossing save data, and it wasn't working through the app. It took me 2 hours to figure it out. I had to look up a YouTube tutorial, but that was like the most frustrating thing I have with this console. I almost at risk losing hundreds of hours of gameplay of my favorite games just because of something not working. And I hope they get to fix this issue in the future. Luckily, I was able to figure out the Animal Crossing app issue. I don't know what was going on with it. There was like a glitch or something, but I was able to retrieve my island. I got all my save data back for Animal Crossing. However, Pokemon, it was all gone. All my save data, all my Pokemon I collected from Scarlet and Violet, gone with the system transfer. And the worst part is, it wasn't even saved on my OLED. I don't know what happened. Once I transferred my Switch 2, all the Pokemon data was gone. I didn't delete it. It just disappeared. And I tried to get it back on my OLED to see, okay, maybe I can still play this on my OLED. It was gone. I don't know what happened. It is what it is. I'm still very upset at it. I hope Nintendo figures out an issue in the future for like Pokemon games. Because if I'm getting Legend CA, I hope like when they make the next Nintendo upgrade, like if it's like a Switch 2 OLED or just like an enhanced version of the Switch 2, like the Switch 3, I really hope they don't run into this issue again with the saved data, because I just would like to transfer all my games over to the new hardware without anything getting corrupted or deleted. Next thing I want to talk about is game chat. Now, I don't have a Switch 2 camera, so I can't really say that part of the game chat. But, you know, I did have friends that did use it. Like my friend, Nice Guy, Radical, Litz. Shout out to you guys. I miss you guys. Shout out to N10. We love you guys. Ow, my hand. Anyways. You know, game chat was a very fun experience while playing Mario Kart World. I have over 60 hours in Mario Kart World currently, and I played a lot of like online free roam, online knockout tour, online versus. And I got to play with a lot of creators like Yoshiller, Alex. I got to play with Gabe. I got to play with the N10 guys, Litz, Nice Guys, Cisco. And I got to play with my friends too. A lot of people in the community. And, you know, it's cool just you're racing around, and it feels like you're playing Mario Kart Arcade, where you have their icons as the camera, and every time you hit them, it does a reaction. It feels like you're in the arcade at Dave & Buster's playing Mario Kart. It's a pretty fun time, you know. And I was very skeptical about the camera feature, but, you know, after seeing my friends use it, I am considering getting a Switch 2 camera, maybe making a video about it. But I gotta say, the Switch 2 camera's not that bad from what I've seen from game chat. And also, game chat's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie, you know. It's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. I had some doubts about game chat on the Switch 2, but you know, it doesn't run that bad. And it's something I've been wanting on a Nintendo console since the Wii U. Like, there was like the voice call stuff, like the Wii U chat, I think. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted the real deal, and we finally got game chat after so many years. But, you know, game chat, I gotta say, Switch 2, that's a dub. I didn't play that many Switch 2 games yet, so I'm not gonna really count the games as a part of this review, but I'll tell you guys what my experience with Mario Kart World. It's amazing. I highly recommend playing it. Play it now. GameCube Online. Now, a lot of people don't like the GameCube Online so far, but I don't have a personal problem with it. I've been playing a lot of Soul Calibur 2. Everyone's amazing. It feels like I'm on the GameCube, and I got to play some Soul Calibur 2 with some people in New York before I left. It runs amazing, and I love that game. And, you know, I can't wait for them to add more GameCube games on the Switch 2. The Switch 2 GameCube collection is going to get better from here. And I really think the GameCube collection is phenomenal so far. But, you know, they already teased some stuff prior. We're going to wait and see what else they add. But GameCube runs perfectly. It feels like I'm using the GameCube. I'm hyped for them to add Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn in the future, you know, the Pokemon games, and my personal favorite I'm waiting for, I hope this gets revealed, Mario Party. We need the Mario Parties on GameCube, 100%. But y'all, now, I waited 2 months for the Switch 2. I've been home for like, Ben, how long have I been home for? 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I've been home for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I've been home for 2 weeks. Now, the question is for y'all, was it worth it? Was it worth waiting 2 months for the Nintendo Switch 2? 61 days. Was it worth it? And I'll tell you this. Yes, it was worth it. You know, it was worth it because I got to play this awesome new system with my friends, and I got to experience a lifetime of memories while waiting for the Switch 2. Made lifelong friends and inspire people, and that's, I feel like, is bigger than the Switch 2 itself. But, you know, I'm happy that I got the Switch 2. Was the first one to get it. And if I have to give this a rating out of 10, 1 for worst, 10 for the best, I would have to give it an 8. You know, the Switch 2 is great, but it's not perfect. But, you know, this has been my main console in a while. And I have all consoles like Xbox, PS5s. I have Steam. I've been using this the most ever since I got the Switch. And the Switch has become my new personal favorite handheld console. So I want to say thank you, Nintendo, for making the Switch 2. And thank you, the community, for helping me out, waiting for the Switch 2 and being there by my side while I get the Nintendo Switch 2. I couldn't do it without you guys. And that's my Switch 2 review. I hope you all enjoy. More dog vlogs coming soon. You know, guy with the yellow beanie. Anyways, this has been your boy Chicken Dog signing out. Have yourself a damn good one. I love you guys. Chicken Dog out. Bye.